If you follow any news about Taiwan and China, you know the relationship has been rocky at best. Our neighbor isn't exactly friendly, flexing their warships and warplanes on the regular. But even 7 decades ago, when the Republic of China fled to Taiwan after losing the Civil War, the mainlanders didn't behave too well either. Many treated Taiwanese even worse than Taiwan's previous colonizers. So yeah, the bad blood runs deep. Yet, hundreds of thousands of Taiwanese have married Chinese people since then. My parents were one of those couples. My father from China, my mother born and raised in Taiwan. In my generation, I know Taiwanese men marrying Chinese women too. Are these incredible love stories that defy politics, or marriages balanced on stilts with warring identities? Relationships have blown up for less, like supporting different sports teams. In this video, I want to show what these cross-strait marriages really look like from my experience, and how Tuesday dinner can turn into a full-blown drama when Taiwan versus China comes up. Hi, I'm Seriously, Taiwan Matters. I'm Taiwanese American now living in Europe. These are my guinea pigs. Tuesday dinner is always peaceful at their table, unless someone accidentally took an extra carrot. The first wave of mixed marriages began after the Republic of China retreated to Taiwan in the late 40s. 1 to 2 million people arrived. The vast majority were men. So when it came to marriage, their best shot was to woo a Taiwanese woman. The problem was, most Taiwanese families didn't want that. To them, these mainlanders were strangers from a government that had just taken over, speaking a different language with unknown family backgrounds, and sometimes a sense of superiority they hadn't earned. In traditional Taiwanese households, many parents and matchmakers chose good husbands. A refugee with no money, no parents, and no background check didn't exactly make the list. Luckily, my grandmother was different. She trusted my mom to choose for herself, which in the 1960s was rare. The truth is, my mother's first choice was a Taiwanese man, but he got engaged to someone else after his mother picked the bride for him. My mom wasn't impressed when her first choice turned out to be a mama's boy. Classic Taiwanese tradition. So my dad, the second choice, lucked out. And honestly, my mom did too. Marrying a refugee came with one big perk: no parents-in-law. No mother-in-law to criticize your cooking or pressure you to quit your job and start producing grandchildren. My parents' marriage wasn't a political statement. Under martial law, you didn't talk about politics. It was bad for your health. They were just young people finding enough in common to build a life together. But prejudice was always in the air, even if not aimed directly at them. You'd hear it in passing comments, like a mainlander relative or friend saying, "Well, what did you expect from a Taiwanese?" Or slipping in a, "He's Taiwanese," with a tone that implied everything and explained nothing. On the other side, some Taiwanese relatives resented the privileges mainlanders enjoyed: government jobs, housing, connections. They say, "Oh, how nice that it all worked out for them." Or, "Really? Still can't speak Taiwanese after all these years." These comments were mostly passive-aggressive, but over time, some relationships didn't survive the tension they brought into a cross-strait marriage. The real trouble, at least in our family's experience, came after Taiwan gained freedom of speech and democracy in the late 80s and 90s. Everything that had been whispered under martial law came out, first in dribs and drabs, then at full volume. The 22A massacre, the White Terror, and the big question: what exactly is Taiwan's identity? A continuation of the Republic of China, or something entirely new? Some mainlanders felt blamed for history, or underappreciated for the ROC's contributions to Taiwan. More and more people began identifying simply as Taiwanese, not Chinese from Taiwan. And for those of us with roots on both sides, it wasn't just about choosing a label. It was about choosing which government best represents your vision for Taiwan, which can be very different from what your parents or relatives believe. By then, I was already living abroad and not keeping up with politics. So every visit back to Taiwan felt like walking into a minefield. Family dinners could go from "pass the soy sauce" to "are you an idiot for listening to that turtle egg politician?" in seconds. Trying to follow political arguments from every side of the family was like being dropped into a heavy metal concert. You feel the emotions at full blast, but can't make out the lyrics. Eventually, politics became a banned topic at family gatherings. It wasn't about protecting free speech anymore. It was about protecting family peace. Because it's not always clear who supports which party. People assume older mainlander families are loyal to the KMT, the party that brought the ROC to Taiwan, while younger, local-born Taiwanese lean towards the DPP, the pro-Taiwan Independence Party. But the reality is messier. Over 70% of people in Taiwan now identify as only Taiwanese, yet the DPP doesn't get 70% of the vote. So it was best not to assume, and steer clear of Taiwan versus China topics if you want to keep seeing family. But Taiwan's democracy didn't just bring political choice. It also brought a new wave of cross-strait relationships. After martial law ended in 1987, Taiwanese could finally visit China for business, family, or new opportunities. By the 1990s, Taiwan's economy was booming, its women more educated and financially independent. Older or less educated men who struggled to find partners at home looked abroad, Southeast Asian countries, or China. For many Chinese women, Taiwan offered a better life, no language barrier, and more freedom, an easy offer to fall for. By 2003, cross-strait marriages peaked at 34,000, about 1/5 of all marriages that year, with over 90% being Taiwanese men marrying Chinese women. As of 2025, Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council reports over 367,000 Chinese spouses living in Taiwan, many long-term residents who still hold a PRC passport. But fitting in isn't easy. Foreign wives often face quiet discrimination, job barriers, visa hassles, and that line you hear when someone catches your accent. Oh, you're from China. Maybe curiosity, maybe a subtle border check. Beneath the waves of Chinese migration to Taiwan lies a deeper anxiety. What if China is infiltrating Taiwan through marriage? Most probably came for love or freedom. But in a democracy, freedom can be turned into a weapon against itself. In 2025, that long-standing concern came to a head when open, pro-communist propaganda by Chinese residents in Taiwan forced Taiwan's government to decide where free speech ends and national security begins. Taiwan deported 3 PRC-born women, all married to Taiwanese and raising families here, after months of posting videos calling for military unification and labeling Taiwan a province of China. Each received a 5-year re-entry ban, but those were just the loud ones. How many mixed households in Taiwan are quietly raising kids to believe Taiwan belongs to Communist China? And Taiwanese kids raised by pro-Beijing parents will soon get to vote, legally, freely, maybe even for a system that wouldn't let anyone speak freely at all. That's the paradox of democracy. So yeah, mixed marriages are messy, and their shadows stretch across generations. But does love conquer all? Well, when it comes to cross-strait relationships, maybe skip the word conquer, because somebody still thinks that's how you earn Taiwan's love. I talk about that in another video, how China turned me Taiwanese. Let's just say, identity isn't about where your parents came from. It's about the values you choose. Please subscribe and check out our other videos.